गुड इवनिंग लेडीज एंड जेंटलमैन एंड व्यूअर्स। आज फिर मैं एक ऐसे वॉरियर के साथ हूँ जो आप उनके कारनामे जब सुनेंगे तो आप खुद ही ताज्जुब करेंगे कि ऐसा भी हो सकता है। यस, ऐसा भी हो सकता है। और आज के जो वॉरियर्स हैं, समुद्र की गहराई से लेके और पहाड़ों की ऊंचाई तक और जमीन पे जो उनके अद्भुत कारनामे हैं, उस तीनों मिला के उनको एक यूनिक पर्सन बनाते हैं। और मेरे जो आज के गेस्ट हैं वो एक एक्स नेवल अफसर हैं जो सबसे प्रेस्टिजियस कॉलेज जिसको RIMC कहते हैं हम, राष्ट्रीय इंडियन मिलिट्री कॉलेज, जो देहरादून में है, जिसमें केवल एक बंदा और एक बच्चा कहना चाहिए जो 10-11 साल का बच्चा होता है, जो 5वीं-6ठी क्लास में ज्वाइन करता है। 1 person फ्रॉम 1 state ओनली, डिपेंडिंग अपॉन द पॉपुलेशन ऑफ द स्टेट। तो पहली चीज तो इनकी है, सबसे खासियत ही इज कॉल्ड रिम कोलियन। दूसरी चीज है कि ये एक सबमरीनर है, एंड आप जानते हो सबमरीनर को कहाँ होता है, बिल्कुल पानी के अंदर इनको रहना होता है। दूसरा, इन्होंने मार्कोस है, मैरीन कमांडो, अगेन एक यूनिक स्किल है। और थर्ड थिंग कि ये माउंट एवरेस्टर भी है। सो आप इमेजिन कीजिए कि समुद्र की गहराई से लेके और माउंट एवरेस्ट की ऊंचाई तक और जमीन पर मार्कोस, ये क्या डेडली कॉम्बिनेशन है। तो ऐसे ही आज के हमारे जो गेस्ट हैं वो हैं कमांडर अभिषेक खनकन। गैलेंट्री अवार्ड से विनर हैं और इनको गैलेंट्री अवार्ड नेवी ने दिया है। उसके साथ साथ इनको कमेंडेशन कार्ड मिले हुए चीफ ऑफ स्टाफ से और कमांडर इन चीफ जो नेवी के होते हैं उनसे मिले। So let's welcome our today's guest, Commander Abhishek Kankan. Abhishek, welcome to the show Win Life Like a Warrior.
Thank you, sir. Jai Hind to everyone. Dhanyavad.
Good. So, Abhishek, कैसा लग रहा है? Because you are true warrior. ये जितनी सारी all in one जो आपकी जो खूबियां हैं, स्किल्स हैं, तीनों एक साथ मिलकर, और ये चैनल का नाम भी विन लाइफ लाइक ए वॉरियर। आई होप यू मस्ट बी हैप्पी अबाउट दिस।
Yes, certainly I'm very happy about it. And first of all, I'm happy to be alive to be telling all this, speaking to you, because the ventures which I went on were very high risk. So there was very, very high risk to life, to my life, to my men's life. So first is that I'm happy and grateful to Bhagwan that I'm alive. And of course, I'm also grateful because I couldn't have even thought in my childhood or in my dream anytime that I could have been able to do all these things. Just that the Navy gave me the opportunities and I really grabbed them with both my hands. I didn't leave a chance. So as life moved on, I got a chance to serve in various arms and in various capacities, and also a lot of adventure activities. So first of all, hats off to my parents for letting me join the armed forces, and of course, then the Navy for giving me all the opportunities.
Wonderful, wonderful. So Abhishek, to start with, let's talk about, you see, इतनी young age में पेरेंट्स को बच्चे को एकदम बाहर भेजना, वो भी ऐसी जगह RIMC में, तो जब तक आपका कोई थॉट प्रोसेस ये ना हो कि हाँ बंदे को मुझे सोल्जर ही बनाना है, तब तक बड़ा रेयरली कोई ऐसे भेजेगा इतने। सो व्हाट वाज इन योर फैमिली दैट दे सेंट यू टू RIMC? यस, यू मस्ट हैव बीन अ ब्रिलियंट स्टूडेंट, देयर इज नो डाउट इन दैट, बट ओवर एंड अबव पेरेंट्स को वहां भेजना और आपको वहां जाके एडजस्ट करना, आप उसके बारे में थोड़ा बताइए।
Well, as far as family background is concerned, मेरा मुझसे पहले कोई भी फौज में नहीं था. Nobody, none of my relatives, nobody was in the armed forces. So we were a total civilian background. How this RIMC happened, एक तो my father was in government service, central government, Ministry of Industries, deputy director, and he was posted in Kolkata. So one of his friend's son who was in the army, he was posted in Kolkata. So he went to meet him, ki, how are you? And So he went alone actually. And then he was that time a major in the army, and he was at Fort William. So my father was quite impressed after meeting him, and so he must have told him, and that's how that officer told my father about RIMC. So that's how, because a lot of people that time didn't know also much about RIMC and the military schools and the Sainik schools. So, and especially for a civilian family which didn't have any background. And ironically, I was not a brilliant student. I was a very ordinary student. So, and I was in 5th standard in Kolkata, studying there. And then my father came back and he told me that there is a school called Rashtriya Indian Military College, and there they train for military. And so I, as a 10 and a half years old child, I visualized that, guns and uniform and tanks, whatever I must have seen in the movies. So I was very excited. I said, yes, this is something which I want to do. And then I started studying like nobody's business. My father also got me some tuitions because I was in 5th standard. Actually, RIMC that time used to be after 7th standard, from 7th to 11th.
Okay.
So the syllabus was generally of 6th standard. So I had to cover the academics of 6th, which were there for the entrance exam. So I really slogged for, I think, 4 or 5 months. And then I appeared in the written exam. In the meantime, my father got posted from Kolkata to Delhi. And my father was trying for my admission in Delhi, and there was a basic problem because Delhi used to follow July to July sort of a thing. And in Kolkata, it used to be Jan to December. So in fact, my father was finding it difficult to get me admitted into 5th itself, I mean, into 6th standard. And then I came to know that I have got through the RIMC exam. A telegram came from my grandfather, who was my next of kin. That time, telephones and mails and all were not so rampant. So RIMC entrance exam was definitely tough. And there was an interview which was followed up. And of course, after you come into the merit, then you have to go through the medical, so that, the whole Fauji medical. And somehow I did make it to the first 4 in the All India merit list. So I was also very happy, and parents were also very happy. And of course, there was a big fight between my father and my mother. Didn't want me to go. And father realized that we are a family which will do service jobs. And he realized that armed forces is the most ethical and neat and clean job amongst various jobs. That's what he thought, although he was in the government. So he was quite keen to make a career. So of course, he also loved me and didn't want me to go, but for my future, he did let me go. And I was also the only son of my parents. So that was another factor.
Fantastic. In fact, ये बड़ी common सी कहानी है अभिषेक की. Like I was also only son, and my mother again was very adamant कि I was already working before joining. I am technical, तो मैं पहले I was in Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, Department of Revenue. ये तुम अच्छी खासी नौकरी कर रहे हो, तुम फौज में क्यों जाना चाहते? But in this case, I insisted. So somehow I was so fascinated. तो ये हर घर की कहानी है कि mother always take it as if कुछ गड़बड़ होने वाली है, जबकि कुछ नहीं होता है, and everything goes well. So अभिषेक, जो व्यूअर्स सुन रहे होंगे और जो बाद में सुनेंगे, उनके लिए थोड़ा सा ही बताओ. आपने बोला कि रिटन भी टफ होता है और फिर इंटरव्यू मिलता है. सो इफ इन नटसेल यू कैन टेल रिटन में क्या होता है और इंटरव्यू में एग्जैक्टली 5 मतलब 10-11 साल के बच्चे का क्या रिटन और क्या इंटरव्यू?
वेल, फ्रैंकली मैं आपको बताऊं कि उस समय तो मैंने दे दिया था एग्जाम. अभी इतने सालों बाद my son was getting of the age to join RIMC, so I asked him. He was also very keen. So मैंने कहा चलो पूछते हैं कि what is the scene, how some came across some tuitions and things like that. So I used to speak to them and I used to say that, yeah, I'm interested for my son for going for RIMC. So they all used to keep quiet. They said, military school, सैनिक स्कूल के लिए हम देते हैं, RIMC बड़ा difficult होता है. So somehow my pride of getting into RIMC got enhanced now by realizing that it is, he said, there's the toughest exam at
Yes.
at this level in the country. And of course, it is emphasis is on maths, physics, chemistry, biology, and English. So these are the main subjects. There is also general knowledge, which is there, and also courses, questions related to basic intelligence, what do you call, analyzing things. So it's a whole your personality thing, not only just academics plus general knowledge plus your personality.
तो बट फिफ्थ और सिक्स क्लास में तो अभिषेक फिजिक्स केमिस्ट्री मैथमेटिक्स तो कुछ होता नहीं है.
Now it is 8th to 12th because NDA
Okay.
has become after 12th. So 8th, so a student of 7th can appear.
अच्छा, okay.
So by 7th, yes. I mean, it comes together, but they
Okay.
cover all the aspects.
Oh, science basically.
Science, yes.
So Abhishek, how did means RIMC means you normally get prepared for the NDA, then, but somehow instead of NDA you landed up in engineering. How this journey started then?
Okay, not joining NDA was a failure because I flunked the SSB. Once I flunked the written exam, once I flunked the SSB. So, which was shocking for me, for my parents, for everyone, because I was quite a good student. And then with my course, it changed from NDA after 11th to NDA after 12th. So that was a transition period in 1987-88. So I had to take admission outside for 12th because RIMC didn't have 12th. So initially I thought I will drop a year because I felt that I'm not really great in academics, but my parents told me drop. I said, no, let me try my 12th. And it was August that my SSB had finished and I had not made it. So there was very less time left for the board exams. But then again, I really put my head down. वो कहते हैं ना छुट्टियां बांध के पढ़ाई करनी शुरू करी. And I got pretty good marks. I had physics, chemistry, maths, PCM. So even I was very surprised that I got such high marks. And then my parents started looking at me trying for IIT and other things because parents का था कि engineering करे. उस जमाने में सभी को engineering और medical यही दो fields होते थे. But I had my passion for the armed forces, and that time I came to know there was an entry called a Naval Engineering course in which you join as cadets, but instead of NDA, you go to the Naval Academy, and then you do your 4 years BTech being a cadet. So then I applied for this scheme and went through the SSB, and this time I did pretty well. And there were 250 students who actually qualified the written, the what do you call, the SSB and the medical, and there were only 72 seats in the Navy for this scheme. And I came in first 5 this time for this thing. So, I mean, yes, I had my failures. One can't take anything for granted.
Yes.
So that's very important. And at whatever level one may be, if you really are passionate and put in the hard work, like I told you, I was an average student in my 5th class, but I could scale up myself to 6th standard and qualify for RIMC, which is the toughest exam. So anybody can, don't think that today I'm this and I can't achieve that. Just that passion and the hard work along with it is can take you to places. So that's what happened with me.
In fact, कभी-कभी ये भी होता है अभिषेक की means that NDA का failure means you are destined to something else, and this Naval Academy has become that destiny for you. Means that was better. In fact, you achieved so much after that. Means you become altogether a different person in the world. So कभी जब अपने मन का नहीं होता है तो ऊपर वाले का मन का होता है, और ऊपर वाले मन का जो होता है वो हमेशा अच्छा हो.
Definitely, whatever happens for the better.
For the good.
वो तो है.
It is always proved in everyone's case.
Correct. We have to keep ourselves positive. That's very important. With failure, either you can just shut down, get depressed, and give up. Never give up. That's important. It's fine. Failures happen with everyone in life. They're a learning step.
Yeah, and failure is always like failure means you fail forward, not backward. You get up and go forward. And failure is always a stepping stone toward the success. It's the first step toward the success. So, how was the experience? Because see, NDA to a total ragda hota hai. Everybody knows it. IIM also total ragda hota hai. How is this Naval Academy, which you may tell, I am not aware much about. Was it a ragda?
Okay, we had our first 6 months of basic training at Naval Academy, Goa. That time, now we shifted to Azimala. And after the 6 months, we shifted to INS Shivaji. So the cadets training complex in INS Shivaji, which is in Lonavla, very close to NDA. I mean,
Okay.
Pune, yes.
Okay.
So, I mean, I may be a bit biased, but being from RIMC, I can tell you that Ragada was certainly there, and compared to NDA, it was 1.5 times.
Oh my God.
Being that there were only 72 cadets in a course.
Yeah.
Whereas NDA has a huge strength. So one can sham and escape a lot of things. But here you are directly under the eye of your seniors. And they're also waiting very ruthlessly for you. Plus the climate. In Lonavla, all the people go there for, all the having a nice weekend and fog and rain and all. But, doing your training there, your clothes don't dry. You have to, most of the times, if you wash your clothes, they have to dry on your body. So you wear it, and due to body heat and the fungus, things catch fungus very fast. So even the elements of nature are against you. So it was tough. It was quite tough out there. And plus we are studying engineering. So, it's very difficult to remain awake in the classes. forget studying. But then that's the correct, I mean, even in NDA or IMA or any Naval Academy or the Air Force Academy, the idea is to subject you to a lot of stress and to hardship so that, you can be broken down and molded so that in future, because our job is like that in the future, you're not going to be in AC environments and, working from nice offices. It's all cross country in the Northeast or in Kashmir or at the high seas. So this Ragada is very important. And it is not like those ragging in colleges or something. It's totally different. It is oriented towards, building up your stamina, mental strength, physical strength, and of course, moral strength also.
True. There is no doubt in that, because this Ragada is not for the sake of Ragada. It is making you something different, making you to mentally tough, basically, to deal with any kind of unforeseen circumstances. You rightly said. So this 6 month you said is in the
Naval Academy, Goa,
which is the military kind of training.
It is Naval Academy. So yes, it is 6 months.
And then you shift to Lonavla.
We shift to Lonavla, INS Shivaji, which is again a naval establishment.
Okay.
So there you are in the naval uniform and all. It's a total military institution. Yeah, it's a class A military.
So what it taught in Goa and what it taught in this thing, Lonavla?
Yeah, so in Goa, we are basically taught about naval orientation. So that is like, navigation, naval law, then naval history, and organizations, naval routine, parade, marching, and your cross country, your BPTs, and all the things. So it is a 6 month thing in which these subjects are taught, and of course, cadet training happens. Whereas once you come to INS Shivaji, your routine of physical education, parade, march past, all that stays. But then you start doing your
and engineering
4 years BTech course. Yes.
4 year BTech, proper BTech.
Proper BTech.
This BTech is in what, marine engineering or something else?
No, you have two subjects, mechanical and electrical and electronics.
Okay.
So 2 streams are there. There are certain people who opt for naval architecture. They go to Cochin. So they so around some vacancies are there. So they do their BTech there. Otherwise, for mechanical and for electrical and electronics, it is in INS Shivaji.
Good.
In fact, now the whole system is changed. Now for officers, it is almost 100% all have to be engineers. So at the new Naval Academy, which is at Azimala, there the cadets do a 4 years BTech course, all cadets. and then they stream out into IT or what do you call, mechanical or electrical, various subjects.
And Abhishek, you always wanted to join the Navy only right from the beginning, or it's a change of thought?
No, I once I got in my mind, I came to know about the armed forces. I saw the army. In fact, in RIMC, we are wearing the olive green uniform, and we are following the full army system of march past, salute, hierarchy, everything, because the commandant is a serving colonel, and the whole school is totally like a cadet. It's a class A institution like NDA or IMA. So RIMC is a class A institution. But I don't know, from my childhood, I didn't want to do things which everybody is doing. I wanted to always do something different. So I found that Navy was certainly something different. And being from North India, I had never seen the sea. So that was something which fascinated me. The naval uniform also fascinated me a lot. And so that's how I got attracted towards the Navy.
Basically, the fan of whites. And after this academy thing got over, you must have joined some unit or some.
Yes, I was posted on a ship. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
But then how this you got into this MARCOS thing?
Okay. See, what we do a 4 years of BTech, and in the last year we get commissioned as officers, but we continue with the training. We go for a watchkeeping, that 6 months sort of a on-job training on board ships. After that, we come back and we do our marine engineering specialization. I was a mechanical engineer, so I do my marine engineering specialization, whereas the electrical and electronics, they go to INS Valsura in Jamnagar, and they do the 1.5 years of electrical orientation course. And of course, the executive people go to various schools of navigation and weapons and what do you call, gunnery and other courses. So after that, we get posted on board ships for our watchkeeping and for our appointment. I was posted on board INS Ganga for my first appointment. And that time I came to know that Navy was looking for volunteers for MARCOS, because Marine Commandos is a volunteer arm. You can't force anyone to join or even. So I gave my name, and then there was an aptitude test, a physical test, and a medical test. And somehow I got selected. And I reached at INS Abhimanyu, where the training used to take place. It's in Uran off Mumbai. So, of course, the people on ship were not very wanting me to go, because they would lose one manpower. Because I was posted as assistant engineer officer on board the ship. But we had volunteered during our courses itself, so it couldn't be stopped. So that's how, and this was the first time that they had opened MARCOS for technical officers also, because they were not getting enough officers from the executive cadre. So mine was the second course for which I went.
Okay.
Yes.
So you said that you have already opted for the MARCOS. That means during that 4-year engineering time only you opted for it?
No. During my specialization time of 1.5 years.
That is marine specialization.
Yes.
In fact, there is somebody who has said Jai Hind to you, and also said that, sir, what is submariner? So you may like to tell right now, or otherwise there is a question after that.
Okay, submariner is someone who serves on board submarines. Submarines are again like ships which sail in the sea, but they sail underwater. The ships sail on surface of the water, whereas submarines sail underwater. And submarines are very potent platforms, very stealth. That is, the enemy can't trace submarine. It's very difficult to trace a submarine because it's underwater and no one can make out. And you can go very close to the enemy coast, and it can't be tracked by satellites. It can't be tracked by radars. So now what happens? Just imagine yourself in a vessel made of iron with no windows, and you are in that and very deep in the sea, and there is no sunrise, there is no sunset, and the life is really tough on board a submarine. And your reactions have to be very fast, because you can imagine if you are in a vessel which is underwater, by chance you have to maintain the buoyancy. the equilibrium. Otherwise, you will come up or go down. So any flooding or something takes place, there are greater chances of a submarine sinking. Parallelly, if suppose there is some minor fire or smoke, first our reaction is that to step out. Like हमारे घर में अगर fire हो कुछ हो तो we step out. But in a submarine, if you step out, you're going to get into the sea. So sea water will gush in. So your reactions have to be very fast. And it is not a 9 to 5 thing. Once you're sailing, it is 24 hours. So we have a watch system in which you have a 3 hours on and then a 6 hours off and again a 3 hours on. So it's round the clock. So your sleep is broken up because you can't tell everyone, okay, from 9 to 6 we'll work, after it all of us will sleep. No, you have to run your machines, you have to run your plants, you have to ensure that that the people on board, they are comfortable, food is cooked. So it's like a city actually underwater. You have to generate your power, you have to generate your water, you have to provide ventilation and air conditioning for habitability, you have to provide food, so and other basic amenities. So being a submariner is something very tough. Again, it's a volunteer arm. You can't force anyone to become. After you've joined the Navy, you get an option, choice. And if they find that you're doing good, you're good in academics, you're good in your behavior, and then you volunteer, and then your name comes. And after that, one undergoes a course for 6 months written, in which they teach you everything. Like I am from mechanical background, but they will teach me about electrical, about mechanical, about seamen, executive, everything they teach you, because in emergency, you might have to react. You should know all the systems on a submarine at least. So being a submariner is something very, very unique, a matter of pride, and you wear a badge once you qualify as a submariner.
Fantastic, fantastic. In fact, one can only imagine it unless, because I recently, I gone to this Andaman Nicobar with the family. So वहाँ एक ship पे, it is a sort of a tourist ship, and they take you down only few meters, I think 5-6 meters, just to show you that how that fishes and other some marine life. And within that only, going down 6 meters only, you can make out that how difficult it was. So I can well imagine. We will discuss this more in detail. One more question somebody has asked while I put up this flyer on the YouTube. उन्होंने पूछा था कि जब साइक्लोन्स आते हैं सी में तो सबमरीन को कैसे हैंडल?
Okay, जब साइक्लोन सी में आते हैं, that is the time when all submariners are smiling and very happy, because we are underwater.
Okay.
It is the people on ships who really face the wrath of the cyclones. So that way, in one thing, we are better off than the ship is that during cyclones, and the sea is very rough. See, sea is a very amongst the elements. Sea is not at all kind to you. There are heavy waves, there are storms, there are cyclones, and the water is also salt water. So even our systems get spoilt very fast. Corrosion, erosion, everything takes place very fast. So definitely during cyclones, submarines are, as I told you, submariners are smiling. Of course, due to waves and all, we do get an effect, but not as much as the ship. On board ships, the ships really toss left and right, and you feel, we call it, and which actually is during storms and even otherwise, because of the warmth of the sea, you feel like a pregnant woman. That is, your body system, you feel like throwing up, you feel vomitish, because of constantly you are in that motion. It is, like motion sickness, which people have in the car and all, that is on the road. Here you are at sea, your whole forecastle will go down and again you will come up. So that's how the ships travel at sea. So it's really hard. Everything on board a ship is, tied, because even if you're having food, you have to ensure that your plate you're holding on to it, otherwise it will go to the other guy, and you don't want that other guy to pick up your chicken piece. So these are the perils of the sea, and that's what we are trained. That's why I tell you, during cadet time, we undergo a lot of rigorous training to ensure that we can take all these hardships.
So what you said is basically that submarine during this cyclone, they are the safest and they don't feel much of a effect of that.
Correct.
Whereas the ship faces the maximum effect of
Yes, yes.
that. In fact, this is again a learning. This is again a learning. So let's get back to that Marcos thing, Abhishek. Like जैसे पैरा स्पेशल फोर्सेस का आर्मी में प्रोबेशन होता है and during that probation they make out कि who can make it. They don't tell pass and fail. Automatically you अपने आप ही बोल देते हो भाई मुझे I don't want to go ahead further. मार्कोस में किस तरह का प्रोबेशन होता है? Because and what kind of difficult things you go through?
Okay, so yeah, Marine Commandos, it was a very secret service till some years back, and it was sort of developed on the lines of US Navy SEALs. So here also, like the Para SF, the training is very tough, and the added dimension is being a Marine Commando course. So not only what the commando does on land and with all the weapons and para jumps and everything, here the Marcos also have to, the course includes being at sea, doing scuba diving as we call it, being a scuba diver and doing sea swimming for hours, and para jumps at sea is also something which we do. Like, normally you land on land once you do a para jump or parachute jump. Here we even do parachute jumps in which we land in the water, and which is very, very dangerous, and you have to really estimate the height. And like on land, if you land with a parachute, you just land and then the parachute comes and you fold your parachute and walk. In sea, if you don't, you have to detach yourself from the parachute, because so many lines which are there, if they fall on you, the parachute will take you down with it, because parachutes are designed to sink so that the enemy doesn't come to know. So here it becomes very risky. So, moment you jump, and generally operationally we are supposed to be jumping at around between 2 to 4 in the night, and that too on a moonless night. So you really can't see anything down. It's all dark. It's only the sea. So it's very, very challenging. In fact, I had a very close shave during training. I got entangled with my parachute, and luckily the rescue boat came and rescued me. Of course, I had a knife with me, commando knife. I was cutting myself from the parachute, but yeah, it was a very dicey jump. But then after that, I learned my lessons better, and I continued with the para jumps. So Marcos training is very tough, and here also, I'll tell you, we were 24 of us who joined this course for the Marine Commando course. We are 3 officers and 21 men. So this is the only course in which officers and men, we do it together. And I mean, can you imagine how many of us really qualified or passed out after 6 months of rigorous training?
Out of 24.
Yes.
Maybe means going grade 3-4.
Yes, you did hit the bullseye. But yes, as you said, there was nobody who was thrown out of the course.
Yeah.
Never the instructor said that, you are not performing here, leave the course and go, or you are disqualified. We used to have a continuous training, and we used to be evaluated also, evaluated for our firing, for a cross-country timing, for a BPT timing, for our obstacle course, firing with all weapons, how accurate we are, rocket launchers, jungle navigation, sea navigation, so many parts of it. But never the training team told that you are not doing good enough, it's been 2 months, you go back. Never even once. But still, at the end of it, we were only 5 of us who were left. Rest all, they just raised their hands and they said, I can't do anymore. It was like that. So, and I can tell you one thing, that I was certainly not the best. I mean, 1 officer and 3 of my men, we ultimately called, there were people who were better than me in swimming. In fact, swimming, I was not so great. So water was my Waterloo. I'm not that great a swimmer. In fact, I learned to swim properly and breathing in water only during this commando course, where one of my ustads he really helped me out. What the greatest learning was that that you yourself have to be mentally strong and never give up in life. You can have your failures, you can step back, and then, it's not always success. Step back and go ahead. So that's what they're looking for a commando, because commando always operates behind enemy lines or on special missions. Nobody's going to be watching him. So it is your own thing. If you feel you qualify, if you feel that, you can make it to the grades, so you're given full freedom. So that's how only actually 4 of us could qualify. So that really speaks about the toughness of the training. It's not only physical, it is all round your physical, your mental strength, and your what you call resilience in yourself. So all those aspects are important.
True. Bilkul rightly said. So, Abhishek, you have 2 things which I would like to ask you. एक तो आपने बोला कि जब आप सी में पैराजम्प करते हैं तो आपको डिटैच करना पड़ता है अपने पैराशूट को, और वो भी नाइट में, वेयर यू कांट मेक आउट. तो कितनी हाइट से आपको डिटैच करना होता है?
Okay, so see, we are doing parajumps because so that in future we can be infiltrated into the enemy's territory from the seaside without getting detected. So the aircraft also flies at a very low height, almost just sea skimming.
Okay.
So actually the parajump, you have only 45 seconds from the time you come out of the aircraft until you touch the thing. So what is there, that first we drop a boat which is laden with explosives and all our things. So first we drop the boat, and then depending on the thing, operation, 5 or 6 of us, we do parajumps. So moment you do parajumps, we are wearing neoprene suits, buoyancy suits, and fins in our legs. So those are not worn, those are tied to our, strapped to our shin. So moment you jump, what we do is the parachute is fully so we open all the things except for one knob which is there. So if you press that, the parachute will go off. So we open everything except that. Then we put on our fins. So you have to bend and put on your fins, because if you fins, if you leave it, because of the speed of the aircraft, you will revolve because the surface is high of the fins. So you have to wear your fins. You have to detach. Keep your parachute ready for detachment, and then you have to guess. Ideally, around 10 meters above the sea level, you are supposed to detach yourself. So as you train, you get an idea that I take so much time to do these things. You can't really see the sea, but on assumption, you detach yourself, and then you have a free fall and you fall into the water. So that's how it is.
10 meter means it may not be 1 or 2 seconds at the most.
Yes.
Means 10 meter, so when you are dropping, 1 or 2 seconds you will be
correct. So the whole time
within 1 or 2 seconds you have to detach yourself.
No. You only once you have detached yourself, then you go, then you fall.
Okay.
So for that 45 seconds you are coming down, you are preparing yourself.
Okay.
All what you have to do.
Okay.
And so it's around 30-35 seconds you have time to do all this.
Okay.
And then you detach yourself, and then you fall straight away into
Okay.
so that all the strings and the parachute doesn't come on you.
Okay.
So moment you detach, the parachute will go separate because there is no weight, and you will fall there itself.
Okay.
Yes.
And
then you have to track where your boat is and then swim to it.
Then you join your boat.
Yes, then everybody joins the boat. Then we unstrap it, we take out the engine, we connect the petrol, and then we start it, and then we go on a mission. So it's like that.
Then the mission is started.
Yes.
That is, this is what the MARCOS. I don't think nobody got explained like this. And then Abhishek, so how much must be the swimming? Because the boat to pehle kar diya, aircraft chal raha tha tab tak, fir uske baad aap kiye, to matlab it must be in the kilometers, if I'm not wrong.
Yes, it would be around 1 kilometer.
1 kilometer.
1 kilometer. It can be depending on the winds and how fast
aircraft is
moving, and how fast you have jumped immediately after the thing. So all those factors are there. And in the sea, once you are there, you can't see very far. Only when the waves take you up, you can notice. So we put some chemical lights on the boat, which tell us, okay, it is there. So we at least know where, because it's a dark night and you're in high
dark
sea.
night, and you are just like a bubble in the sea.
Correct.
Where the waves itself is double the height of yours.
Yes.
Oh, what a excitement! What a excitement! Okay, so may I ask you something? Like during this MARCOS training, you said that it's a mental toughness is the more important than the physical toughness. If you can pinpoint one task or one part of the training which is the toughest, which you can recall now offline, that one task or one experience of that kind.
Very difficult because
all are like this.
But yeah, I can tell you one, which is also done in the diving course, scuba diving course. I'm using the word scuba, ship's diver or the. So there's something called drown proofing.
Okay.
Drown proofing. That is, you should not drown. So in this, what they do is your hands behind your back, they are tied there, and your legs are also tied to each other. And then you're thrown into the water. And so with your hands and legs tied, you have to swim. So you can understand psychologically, first of all, water is a bit scary. And then your hands and legs are tied, and then you're thrown into water and you're given a distance that you can only come out from there. So that is something which really you should not panic. Because if you panic, you will drown. And you will get breathless and you will lose your rhythm. So you have to keep yourself very calm. Okay, my hands and legs are tight, but still I can, with my buoyancy, with keeping air in my lungs, I can keep afloat and I can move. So drown proofing is something which really comes in your mind that you can you're helpless. So that was one of the things which was very, very tough.
And what could be the idea behind this doing this kind of thing? If we see the real life,
suppose you are being suppose you got caught by the enemy,
okay,
and then you are being taken somewhere, so they'll certainly tie your hands and legs. That's the minimum they will do.
Okay,
that's the minimum thing. So with that, suppose like they're taking you in a boat or they're taking you over a bridge or something, so you can jump off the bridge or jump off a ship or a boat, even with the hands and legs tied, and head towards away from them and have some scope of rescuing yourself.
Fantastic. This really means imagining itself hands and legs are tied and you want to save yourself. So it's a simulating the situation. There is someone, Abhishek, who has asked live that आपने नेवी सील का जिक्र किया कि this our MARCOS is based on the Navy SEAL. So he has asked which is better, MARCOS or Navy SEAL? I know that it will be very difficult for you to equate it, but some pointer you can always mention too.
Okay, so in fact we had a joint exercise with Navy SEALs. We took that, we started water para jumps because they in fact taught us in a way how to go about water para jumps. They introduced us to the equipment and to the standard operating procedure. Also their A310 Hercules aircraft had come from where we actually did the water para jumps. And which was a grand experience because these Hercules aircraft, they have a ramp. So you actually have to run, walk out of the aircraft. Whereas the normal parajumps which we do at PTS Agra and all, it is like a, jumping from a 10-meter board in a swimming pool. You just jump out. And generally it's a chaos and everybody goes out at the same time. But here you have to, individually go on the ramp, and you're stepping, you can see yourself stepping out of the aircraft slowly and then jumping yourself. So that's something, which scares and also gives you confidence that I can do it. Well, my interaction with the US Navy SEALs, that time they had definitely greater technology than us. They had MP5s and great weapons which we didn't have. But over a period of time, we have got the latest technology. Both we have imported as well as indigenously we have developed. We got night vision glasses. We have got special communication sets. We have got explosives. We have got IEDs. We have got explosive disposal technology. So as far as equipment is concerned, I think we are now at par with the US Navy SEALs. One thing which was very good about the US Navy SEALs was they follow the orders or the standard operating procedure to the full stop, to the comma. Whatever is written in the book, they do it very properly. So one observation was that we don't really do that properly as them. But on the other side, what we do is, like with my men, Marcos, who are with me, depending on the situation, we could innovate, we could adapt, we could do things which are not written in the book.
Yeah.
And we could survive. Like for them, we did jungle warfare with them, jungle navigation and living off the land with the US Navy SEALs. They had to carry their Bisleri bottles, because they couldn't, they are so, the immune system is so low. For us, we were carrying our bottles, but we conserved it. Wherever we found a stream, we would drink water from the stream.
Yes.
So our body has more immunity, and we were more, how to go about the route, what could be the shortcut, what could be a more stealth way. So the average intelligence of an Indian or of our Marcos is much, much higher than an average American or a US Navy SEALs.
Fantastic.
One thing they beat us is that they follow rules very scrupulously. They read and they follow it. So that has an advantage. But our people being more intelligent, and we tend to cut corners sometimes, which sometimes puts us back. But certainly ability wise, our people have greater ability to innovate and do things in a much better manner. Plus we have a wider cross section. We can not only do our work, we can do somebody else's work. And most of the time, unfortunately, what we are doing is minding others' work, which is not good.
In fact, we are the country of jugaad. What you said, कि जहाँ जरूरत पड़े innovate करके, we don't stop, we keep working.
Yeah, definitely.
We find the solution to the problem.
Correct. The only thing, yes, if we get a bit more scrupulous with what we are supposed to do, read up a bit more about it, practice it again and again. Like in armed forces, we have our exercises. Every day we have fire exercise. Every day we have security exercises. We repeat the things so that it's ingrained in us, in a subconscious mind. So if what you're supposed to do, if we really get very good at it, no one can beat us.
ये अभिषेक किसी ने क्वेश्चन पूछा है एक, how can a non-science background student join Indian Navy? Is there any way to join Indian Navy right now?
Non-science for officers, it is not possible now because they are looking at physics and science and maths. But yes, there are certain branches in which science is not allowed. One is the JAG branch, that is the lawyers. Then in the supply chain also, the supply branch, the logistic branch, there are people with non-science backgrounds who can join. Otherwise, as a sailor, there are certain non-artificers branches in which one can join without the science background. So generally 12th is required, but for certain trades, you need not be a science background, like for the seamen sailors, then from the logistics sailors, from the cooks, the stewards. Then there are certain other branches like the gunnery branch. So one could check up on the website and you will get various branches which a non-science person can also join.
Okay. So Arjun, you must have got your answer. Another, I think somebody has asked, what is your primary skill, combat free fall or combat diver? Is it something like this?
Okay, yeah, fine. Yes, I am a ship's diver. That is, I can do scuba diving to a depth of 35 meters. There are also in the Navy clearance divers who can dive up to 55 meters, And there are also saturation divers who dive up to 100 meters and beyond. So in the Navy, it gives you an opportunity. I mean, if you are in the diving cadre, to do the clearance diving and the saturation diving. Whereas normally for other officers and men, a ship's diving course is open, which is air diving up to the depth of 35 meters. There is also combat diving, in which it is oxygen diving. It's a closed loop system so that no bubbles come up. So combat diving as part of MARCOS and clearance diving course one undergoes. So I have done the basic, that is the ship's diving course. After that, I have not done free falls. I have done para jumps, which is mandatory for all the commandos. Then out of the commandos, some people go in for free fall, not everybody. So I have not done free fall.
So just for sake of my viewers and me, you said 4 types of diving. One is 10 meter.
Okay, one is ship's diving course in the Navy,
which is how much?
You can dive up to 35 meters of depth.
Okay.
From water surface to 35 meters.
Okay.
Which is practically in the Navy, we use it for cleaning the propellers,
okay,
or go and check up. Some nets sometimes get entangled in the propellers, or sometimes the underwater walls. So that's the role of a ship's diver, to check that at sea and all. Then there are clearance divers who are cleared up to 55 meters of depth.
okay.
They not only learn how to do welding underwater, they learn how to fix mines underwater, go to enemy coast and fix mines underwater into the enemy ships and other things.
Okay.
They are also taught to do other combat things underwater. Then there is saturation diving, in which is 100 meters, and also it has a different application altogether.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here, for the sake of information, mean the ship under the water goes as deep as 55 meters. That is what you said, welding and all is done.
It could be for different things. I said they are trained in welding also, but mine laying and other activities.
Okay.
But ships generally are not more than 10 meters.
Okay.
The draft is generally not more than 10 meters of the ships. But you are cleared for more, so that you are trained always for more than what you are required to perform.
So after this, as a Marcos, आपने बहुत सारी इतनी एक्साइटिंग चीजें बताई हैं कि बार बार देखना पड़ा ये वीडियो होगा लोगों के लिए. आपकी फिर पोस्टिंग कहाँ हुई? Once you have done the Marcos, where did you actually implement all these learnings?
Okay, I was primarily posted at INS Abhimanyu itself, but we used to go on deployments.
Okay.
So we are divided into small what do you call groups. They are called prahars. So a prahar size depends on the kind of mission. It could be a sea mission, it could be a land mission, it could be. So from there, we used to go for missions into the sea, close to the enemy coast. We used to go for those missions. Then there were certain missions which were there in the northeast, for which we used to go. And then, of course, we are also continuously deployed in Kashmir, in the Oprakshak, counter-insurgency operations. Because there are a lot of, you would wonder why Marine Commandos in Kashmir. The reason being, there are a lot of water bodies in Kashmir.
Yes.
And the terrorists find it, very easy to evade the army and escape through a chishti through the water. So it was realized that they were escaping. So, and there are a lot of ruck area also in the valley. So Marcos were deployed there specifically to apprehend terrorists who were trying to escape through or infiltrate through the water route. Through the Wooler Lake, Dal Lake, all these places.
So, Abhishek, did you get opportunity to operate in Dal Lake?
Not Dal Lake, I operated in Wooler.
Okay.
Wooler Lake we operated. I was posted there as a 2IC for the Prahar. And our team really, day and night trying to find where is the infiltration. We were attached to 15 RR. Okay. So we used to operate with them, sharing intelligence and other things. Then we also went to Gandharbal area. There were a lot of direction finder was telling that there is a lot of terrorist out there, holed up, and they are, operating from there. So we went and conducted a special operation in which we actually had an encounter twice, in which there was one Pakistani terrorist and one Kashmiri terrorist there, and in that encounter we were able to eliminate the Kashmiri terrorist. Of course, it was a night-long operation, and we almost caught him alive also, just before he was dying. We had a good encounter in which luckily there was no casualty on our side, and this guy was a Hizbul Mujahideen area commander from Kashmir. Of course, unfortunately, that Pakistani terrorist, he escaped, although he got injured, but somehow he escaped in that din of the night. So I don't know whether later on he died or what happened, but we couldn't catch him. But this guy, we got him, and he was dead.
Means, Abhishek, being a seaman, you did an infantry job also, eh?
Yes, that's
listen, that not necessary कि आप Navy join किया तो आपको Kashmir में job नहीं मिलेगा. He worked in Kashmir also. Okay.
Yes.
So what was your favorite weapon there?
AK-47.
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 Most of the officers love AK-47.
Yes.
Okay. So, Abhishek, there are some questions which are coming continuously. People are so much interested. Somebody has asked, Abhishek, is it possible for MARCOS to join the special forces, special group?
I don't know what it exactly means, but now there is a synergy between all the three services.
Yes.
In which the para commandos and the Air Force commandos and the Marine Commandos on the Navy, we have a cross training, and we have cross postings also for some people, so that the whole, probably that special operations group, they can form. So that is happening now with the theater command and other synergy between the three armed forces coming in. So that is already happening.
Okay. So good. So it is possible. It is possible.
Yes.
And this was the question from Chirag, which we have recently answered. Another one is said, Akhil, good afternoon, sir. I want to be part of the cyber cell, and I have done MCA. And my CDS attempts are over. Should I pursue MSc in CS from Open University to pursue SSC technical entry?
I think you need not pursue anything, because you'll have to check your age, and you can go to the site, join Indian Navy, just go on Google. So you will come to know the various schemes which are open, like the entries post 12th, post graduation, and of course then also for master's students. So age is one thing. You just generally, the age I think cutoff is 28. So you check, you need not do another course. If you've done your MCA, that is sufficient. You check your eligibility on the joinindiannavy.co.in. I think you will get it. We say joining Indian Navy, you will get the site of the Indian Navy, in which various cadres you will come to know in the officers grade. So short service, permanent commission. So that's one way you can do. You need not wait for pursuing anything more.
Yeah. Graduation is enough, what I feel, and you must go to the UPSC website and see that all qualifications are there and the age limits are there. So that is more than enough.
And even all three armed forces are maintaining their own websites. So you go to the Indian Navy website, you go to the Indian Air Force website, and what do you call, all three services, you will get all the criteria how to join.
Somebody even asked one this thing, sir. Said, I have read somewhere that MARCOS are mentored by 9 parasets. Is it true?
Not really. We have had some joint operations with them. So yes, all are independent special forces. So
instructor could be from anywhere. It depend upon the need of that.
No, so far instructors have been specific, because the course, all the three services have the full infrastructure. Only for the para course, we go to the para training school of the Indian Army.
Okay.
PTS.
Okay.
So that's the thing. So where the trainers are from the Army for the parachute course, and the aircrafts are of the Air Force. So there is a combined training. Earlier, some of the Marcos used to go for the commando course at Balgam, but now Navy has its own full infrastructure. So training is happening independently, although we are operating together some places.
Someone has asked, how do you deal with the visibility underwater?
Yeah, you have to go by your ears. There's hardly anything visible. Yes. So we do have lights which are there, which we can illuminate, but generally underwater we are just going by the feel of it most of the time.
Okay.
Because especially the Arabian Sea and the Bay of Bengal are quite choppy and quite noisy also, and so the visibilities are not really great. So once we do a training, we are almost, we have night divings so that you are totally comfortable in full darkness with nothing, water all around you and total darkness and quietness. So that becomes a part of the training.
In fact, Abhishek, let me tell you, you must be very happy to know. हमारे जो viewers हैं ना, इतना उन्होंने इसके बारे में पढ़ा हुआ है. They are writing such a brilliant questions. I am surprised, and I don't know about you, but let me read out one question. It's a very important question. Somebody has said, "Sir, I read in US SEAL team, they do a 12-month redeployment followed by 6-month deployment. And in SAS, they do 6-month standby, 6-month redeployment, and 6-month deployment. How do Marcos do that?" In fact, I am not aware, but you may throw some light.
See, deployments, it all depends on the operational requirement of the country. So like the US Navy, they operate in all over the world. So, deployment means they have gone to Guam. So suppose there is a station, naval station, Guam of the US Navy. So they will be there and they'll be there for 6 months or 12 months. So that's how they mention that it is 6 months and 12 months. So it's generally a secret of every country, how they are deployed. For us, also, as I told you, we go on missions and we are there in Kashmir for counterinsurgency. We are there in the Northeast. And then, of course, with our ships, submarines, again, the Marcos do operate and carry out various stealth missions. We have a lot of islands in the Indian Ocean. So depending on the mission, the length of the deployment would vary and the team would vary. So it happens all the time. You're generally on the run if you're in Marcos.
Because your question has already been answered by Abhishek, that how they manage during the cyclones. So what Abhishek has said, during cyclones, Submariner are the best because they don't experience effect of cyclone. Only the ships get affected. So he already answered your question in the beginning itself. There is one viewer who says, Abhishek, that what is your most cherishable moment during your entire service?
Oh, most cherishable moment to single out is difficult. But yeah, like the day I earned my Marine Commando badge, that was a memorable thing.
Yeah.
The day I earned my Submariner's badge, that was a memorable thing. The day my team and me, we killed the terrorist who was out to destroy our country in Kashmir. That was a very memorable day. The day I got to take the national flag and the naval ensign on top of the world on Mount Everest and see it flutter there, that's one of the most important days which I can really remember.
So guys, and the one who has asked this question, you must seen not a one memorable day. He got a plenty of that. Becoming Marcos, becoming a Submariner, becoming Mount Everester, killing the terrorists, they're all memorable days. So for a defense person, every day is memorable. That is what he is saying. Abhishek, see, you done the Marcos, then suddenly you decided to become a submariner. And it's a very rare कि एक डिफिकल्ट टास्क मतलब एक चैलेंजिंग स्किल के बाद में दूसरी चैलेंजिंग स्किल एंड उसके बाद तीसरी चैलेंजिंग स्किल, ये कैसे तुम्हारे दिमाग में आता रहा कि भाई मैं अब मतलब यू ऑलवेज वांटेड टू चैलेंज योरसेल्फ. सो मार्को से वेंट टू द सबमरीन.
Okay, as I told you, the Navy kept giving me opportunities, and I kept grabbing them with both my hands. No, it happened like this. See, I told you I was a technical officer, and the Marine Commandos was opened for technical officers for a duration of 3 years.
Okay.
So sort of we were on deployment to the MARCOS. So we could only serve for 3 years, and then we had to get back to a parent cadre. That is on board ships and carry out a primary job. So that's the reason for 3 years I was in MARCOS, and then I had to revert back. But yes, I could have come back on ships and done my appointment. However, as I told you, my age was still on the side, and 28 was the limit for volunteering for submarines. So I volunteered for submarine, and in fact, there's nobody else in the Navy who is a Marine Commando and also a submariner. It's only me. So somehow I did manage to do that. And so I volunteered for the submarine arm, and the Navy was kind enough to let me go for the course. So that's how I joined the submarines. Again, that from childhood to do something different was something which was always in my mind, and keep trying new things. Of course, once my my parents, friends, and others used to speak to my mom and say कि how come आपने अपना बच्चा सबमरीन में कैसे जाने दिया? So my mom used to say, अरे सबमरीन ठीक है, पहले तो वो मार्कोस में था, उससे तो अच्छा ही है. So yes, so my parents have been very supportive. I mean, they always bothered about me not going the harm's way or doing something risky, but they never discouraged me. So hats off to them for allowing me to do.
किसी ने बोला है ना, आपने बोला ना कि मैं I wanted to do always different thing. So being different is better than being better.
Correct.
Okay, and that is what you have followed in your life, always doing different things. And viewers, for your information, he is the only MARCOS as well as submariner, and you topped it by Mt Everest. Only officer of Indian Naval Navy in the world who had done all three. So that is the unique distinction, and you guys are lucky to meet such a person and listening to him. So,
and I would just add to it, Indian Navy is the only Navy in the world whose personnel have climbed Mount Everest. There's no other, and that too twice, two successful missions to Mount Everest. There's no other Navy in the world which has been able to achieve this feat.
Oh, fantastic. That means we are proud of always of our defense forces. So, थोड़ा सा और इस सबमरीन की जिंदगी के बारे में, क्योंकि अभी हमारा यही डिस्कशन चल रहा है, इसकी लाइफ के बारे में थोड़ा सा और बताओगे कि how one is deemed that you are a submarine.
Okay. एक तो आपको मैंने बताया 6 months तो academic course होता है. After that, you have something called what you call escape training course, because submarines there is a very high chance of. So in the escape training course, you are supposed to wear a mask, a scuba set, and through a torpedo, what you call tube. You have to go through it with whole of this, what you're wearing, the mask and scuba set, and then you're supposed to escape out of it, so that tomorrow, suppose the submarine sinks, you can escape through it. That is very, very tough, very claustrophobic, and there's a number of people who are not able to do that course. So, but that is most important, that you should be able to survive, if the submarine sinks or is there. So once you clear that, and then you clear your interviews and watchkeeping on board, actually being on a submarine for 6 months, then is the time you get your badge. But there are certain things I didn't tell you about the submarine, which I think you will find very interesting. Submarine arm is the only place, where the Navy gives you a new uniform every 4th day to wear.
Yes.
जैसे आर्मी नेवी एयरफोर्स में यूनिफॉर्म मिलती है,
हाँ,
तो सबमरीन नाम में हर चौथे दिन मिलती है.
क्या बात है.
हाँ, वो अपना एक कॉटन शर्ट एंड कॉटन शॉर्ट्स इज व्हाट वी वेयर. बट द सैड पार्ट इज दैट you cannot take bath on a submarine. You don't shave on a submarine. For a strength of 50 to 80 people, can you guess how many toilets are there on a submarine?
No idea.
Sir, सिर्फ 2 टॉयलेट होते हैं
Oh,
जो हमारे 2 BHK में होते हैं एक फैमिली के लिए.
oh,
So these are the because water is something which we have to conserve.
scarce.
Space is a very a lot of constraint in a submarine, especially the Russian submarines which we have. So of course we do. I mean, we other hygiene things we do take care of. But yes, these are some of the major things. And then engine room and other places, it is very hot and humid. So you are not exposed to the fresh air as such. So these are some of the tough parts of the submarine. You don't see sunrise, you don't see sunset. So submarine is a very challenging thing. But yes, again, as I told you, you have to volunteer for it. You have to have that passion to be a submariner, and then life is not tough. And you should not be claustrophobic.
तो वो जो आपने टॉर्पेडो वाला बताया ना, उसको कितना लंबा होता है और कैसे, मतलब?
हाँ, that is around 10 meters long. So 10 meters long and 3 people are supposed to escape at the same time. So मतलब एक पूरा सूट पहन के अंदर घुसेगा, then he has to crawl that 9 meters. उसमें सांस फूलती है और सडनली आपको लगता है मैं अंदर हूँ, पैनिक हो जाता है इंसान की, सांस नहीं आ रही है, मैं कैसे निकलूंगा, हाँप रहा हूँ मैं. So it really catches. So especially the पहला बंदा जो जाता है, for him it is the maximum, then the second chap and then the third chap. फिर हम slowly उसको हम पानी से भरते हैं. Suddenly then you get a feeling that you're going to drown because the water starts rising.
Okay.
And then it is pressurized. So you have to equalize your ears. So pressurized okay, and then after that and pressurized के बाद और जब पानी पूरा भर जाता है, then actually you feel a bit relaxed because buoyancy आ जाती है and you feel a bit okay, but still it's just very claustrophobic. But then once the front door of the torpedo tube opens and then you go out and then you ascend through the air column, there is a tower. That is the time you really enjoy that. Thank God, first of all, it is over, and then you enjoy the feeling of going up in the water.
So it is done on the land. This
No, this is done in a proper. There is a pool. There is a whole setup in controlled environment. For the training, it is all done in the controlled environment. Later on board submarines, sometimes we carry out exercises in which we do it. But by that time, you have already learned how to do it.
So otherwise, it is done in the pool, basically.
Yes, you are trained in the pool itself.
Okay. एंड ये जिस तरीके से हमारे आर्मी में होता है कि जब आप पहली बार यूनिट ज्वाइन करते हो तो आपका जो वेलकम होता है तो देन रम का लगेगा या वो लगेगा. इज देयर समथिंग लाइक दिस इन सबमरीन आल्सो?
Yes, there is something called the deepest dive as a newcomer you go to whatever. तो हमारे यहाँ एक टैप से हम बाहर का पानी लेते हैं और जितने भी नए रिक्रूट है उन सबको वो पानी पूरा एक ग्लास एक घूंट में पीना होता है. And that water is very salty and bitter. That is a thing which is like a ceremony.
Okay. I mean, then you are inducted properly.
Yes.
Someone has asked that have you ever come across sharks? Is it like that? होता है कभी मिलते हैं?
For a diver, diver is happy if he doesn't come across sharks because the sharks are the biggest enemies of the divers. But yes, I have dived in Andaman Nicobar and few other places where there are those friendly small sharks, not the real ones. So in fact, it's a good question. Whenever we do scuba diving, we do carry a shark repellent with us. So by chance, if we are diving in the sea and other places, we come across a shark. So we do have a shark repellent compound which we break open and then we come up, ensuring that the shark doesn't get us. So yes, sharks are real danger. But nowadays there are a lot of friendly sharks also, which we have identified. So if you go to some Middle East countries, not Middle East, sorry, Eastern countries like Thailand and all, you will get to dive there. And even in our Port Blair, there are a lot of places where you can dive. Wonderful. You can see corals and wonderful things.
Somebody has asked Abhishek that how do you keep yourself calm in tough situations?
Oh, it's a constant process. For me, yeah, I think that, oh, it's so difficult. What is going to happen? ठीक है, Everest चढ़ लिया ना, ये भी हो ही जाएगा. Terrace मार लिया, वो भी हो जाएगा. But yes, all of us can do it. All of us do get tense. All of us do get fearful. Fear is a normal thing for human beings. It is not that there are times we feel that nothing is going right, everything is going wrong. Negativity in the environment. Like I say that, negativity is like a Velcro. It will always stick to you. You have to keep removing it, and it's a constant process.
Yes.
So that is one has to do on your own. Like they say that happiness is, you have to source happiness from yourself, not from somewhere else. But it's a constant fight. You have to, if there were no challenges in this world, it would be so boring, isn't it? It would be so mundane. It would be so depressing if there was no challenge every day, or if there was nobody screaming at you, or if there was the traffic on the road was very straightforward, you would not enjoy driving also. So take life, like a video game in which you're going levels and levels up and trying to get greater and greater, cross greater stages with greater degree of difficulty. So take these negativity, people not being nice, or you're not getting your due, the environment being hostile, people being hostile as obstacles, and keep overcoming them. Keep positivity in yourself.
Absolutely. And what you said, Abhishek, is wonderful thing. That life is the meaning of ups and downs. Because unless there are ups and downs, you are not living, you are dead. Even the ECG straight line is a dead. Okay. ECG shows that there is a ups and downs.
Perfect.
So, very rightly said. Abhishek, somebody even asked one question. He wanted to give you a task. Are you not writing a book? Being a Submariner or MARCOS and a Mt Everester, because people have written, he's mentioned that Navy SEAL people have written, and you are the one who have this thing. So, any thought on that direction? Means people are so vigilant,
No, definitely I would. I also think of writing a book, but मैं लिखने का बहुत बड़ा चोर हूँ, पढ़ने लिखने का. So I think somebody will have to sit with me and लिखो अपने क्या है दिमाग में. So I think if I get some buddy, some Sherpa, nice buddy who can make me do it, I'll certainly do it. But on my own, I think a lot of lethargy is there, not yet got to it. But ठीक है.
So Chirag, you have understood, you become a Sherpa, he will write a book. Now the question comes, Abhishek, that आपने मार्कोस कर लिया, सबमरीनर कर लिया, अभी उसी बीच में कहाँ से ये थॉट आया कि मैं माउंट एवरेस्ट भी चढ़ूंगा? Means, see, it's very rare that challenging again and again yourself. Sometimes people get into the comfort zone. Chalo, bahut ho gaya, let me just relax. But it's a unique quality of challenging yourself, and that to the topmost challenge. तो ये कहाँ मौका मिल गया और कैसे हुआ?
Okay, I was posted on a submarine, and actually Admiral Madhavendra Singh, he was a chief of naval staff.
Yes.
He took over as a chief of naval staff, and he made a list of vision that in my tenure I want to do these things. And out of those things, one of his vision was that he wanted the naval personnel to take the national flag and the naval ensign on top of Everest.
Yeah.
So that was, there were some people, doing mountaineering in the Navy, and some people used to go for the basic mountaineering course at HMI Darjeeling and things like that. So I was, posted on a submarine, and I was staying So one of my friend, he was a doctor in the Navy only. He asked me that Navy is planning an expedition for Everest. Are you interested? I said, definitely I'm interested. And he knew my background of MARCOS and I was quite an outbound person. So during cadet time also, I was first in cross country. Twice I had come in the cadets cross country and karate, boxing. So these things, basketball. So I said, definitely I am interested. So he said, go and meet the leader. They are planning to shortlist a team. So then I went and met Commander Dam. So he was quite an or experienced mountaineer, very passionate about mountains. So he said, okay, we are looking for it, but you have not done the course and all. So first of all, you have to get permission from your commanding officer, because I was posted on a submarine. So that's a big challenge, because, and even I would feel guilty in leaving a submarine which is going to sea. So I found out about the whole thing and when are the courses for HMI Darjeeling coming. So then I went to my commanding officer and I told him that, he said, but we are going to be sailing. How can we sail without you being an head of department, engineering department? I said, sir, we are going to enter. So submarines and ships, they have a cycle. They have an operational cycle, then a refit cycle in which, you are put into repairs, because I told you, sea is very harsh. The machinery, there's a lot of corrosion, erosion, and a lot of routines of the equipment has to be done.
Yes.
Based on running hours and things like that. So after an operational cycle, the ship goes into a short refit and then a normal refit or a long refit. So my submarine was due for a long refit, normal refit after around 3 months. So I said, sir, please let me volunteer. I will not go during the operational time, but during the refit time, repairs time, I would, then only go, and there is a senior engineer and an assistant engineer who are there who can also take care. So then he agreed. He said, okay, fine. So that's how I could, in fact, convince my commanding officer. And then I went for the course to HMI Darjeeling. Of course, being from submarine, you actually lead a very sedentary lifestyle, because you are in that enclosed space of 60 meters length. So you can't go for a run, you can't go and do things much, you can't even exercise much, because you can't take bath. And of course, your routine is 24 hours sort of a routine. So your stamina and all tends to come down. But luckily, because of my my training at RIMC, Rashtriya Military College, from the very childhood, and then at Naval Engineering course, Highness Shivaji, NEC, there also, that ragada which I got there. And after that, general in the Navy fitness and everything, MARCOS time, so 3 years. So that ensured that my fitness levels had not really gone down. So I went for the HMI Darjeeling course, and it was a very good 28 days course, basic monitoring course. All of you should read, actually check on the net and go and do this course. It is now, there are 4 or 5 monitoring institutes. Nehru Institute of Monitoring is there. And like that, there are 4 or 5 institutes in which 28 days basic monitoring course takes place. And they're not at all costly. They're all sponsored, by the government of India, facilitated by the government of India, mostly manned by the Indian Army officers and other personal staff. So I went there, did this course in which you are taught about slithering and about mountain climbing, ice craft, everything. So luckily, in spite of my recently leading a sedentary lifestyle, I was the best student, just the best student in the course.
Yeah.
Thanks. So the leader then, so that was like, and now he's fit to be taken for the team. So that's how I got into mountaineering. And I went immediately after my course, I went for Mount Comet, which is at Uttarakhand. It is the highest mountain in India. So I went for that thing. I did summit, but unfortunately, I suffered from frostbite during this. So the ring finger is smaller than the other one. So I got frostbite almost till here. But luckily, the whole thing recovered. So only the tip was amputated. But then that was almost like crashing my dreams for Everest. Because once you have frostbite, people generally stop, and doctors also don't recommend you to do any more mountaineering, because you are more prone to getting frostbite or chilblains again. They all become sensitive. But luckily, I recovered. The Navy gave me the best treatment, gave me hyperbaric treatment, and I was able to recover. And my leader had faith in me, so I was selected for the Everest team.
Yeah. So after the selection, then how was the journey? Because everyone who goes to Mount Everest had some moment which one can't forget.
Oh yes, here also there were 2-3 moments. Um, Everest climbing is not fun. It is not like trekking and enjoying the beauty and all that is, is not there. It is sheer hard work, and you are going against the elements. So once you're going against the elements, elements will never spare you. Like, there's it's cold, so you can get frostbite and other things. Then what do you call heights? As you go up, it's very difficult to breathe. After certain height, 7,000 meters, you are always panting as if you have run 100 meters dash. So you are always panting and grasping for breath. So it was just that one step at a time, because if you think of the whole thing, you're likely to give up. So the first part is acclimatization, in which slowly you expose yourself, because our body is the best machine. I mean, we have made such lovely machines, but our body is the best machine which can acclimatize itself. In fact, most of the diseases we can even heal ourselves. Just the medicines are required now because we don't maintain a very healthy lifestyle. Otherwise, our body has the capacity to heal itself. So that's how we acclimatize for a month, in which we climb 500 meters, stay there for an hour, then come down, then climb another 500 meters, stay there for 2-3 hours, come down. And third day, you climb that same 500 meters, stay there, bed rest for 3 days. So that's how you are exposing your body to rarefied air, less oxygen. So your body automatically generates more RBCs, and the BP goes up, then your veins and arteries dilate. So then your BP gets okay. So that's our body automatically adjusts. So that goes on for a month. And after you've reached the height of around 8,200 meters, acclimatizing, that is almost the summit camp, then you have to come down fully. You don't go in for the final thing. I also thought, why another the 700 meters height, we can just finish it. But then your body is really drained. I mean, even coming down was so tough. And because you're not getting sufficient oxygen and it's so cold, so the body really, your hair stop growing, your nails you stop growing. So your body really functions at a very low level. So then you have to come back and recuperate for around 3-4 weeks, and then you have to forecast a weather window. You can't climb Everest any time of the year. In fact, every year you will hear in 3-4 days, in one burst you will hear, and then people have climbed Everest, because that's the only time it is possible to climb Everest. Otherwise, the rest of the year it's called the weather window. So even during my climb, there were 2-3 times I felt ki aaj to gaye, because especially the final climb, in which we were traversing a cliff and we got lost, my Sherpa and me. And we thought that if we fall, it is a 3 kilometers cliff. Even dead bodies are not found, all those who slip from there. That was one place where I thought, I'm not going to survive, not going to see the daylight, it's the end of it. But luckily, God's grace, God of the mountains, Indradev and everybody, he bach gaye. So we somehow found the route and we went ahead. Or aage jaake bhi there is something called the first step, which is almost a vertical climb.
Yeah.
So they're also pulling your body up with a jumar. There is something called a jumar, which only moves up on a rope. So there also, while climbing in the middle, I fainted. And I didn't know what is happening, but luckily that equipment is such that you are tied with a harness. So even if you leave your body loose, you will not fall. You will keep hanging there. So I don't know for how much time I was there. After some time, I realized that, I'm not able to breathe. There's not sufficient air. Then I did Kapal Bhati, apna yog wala. So hyperventilated myself, got some strength, got some sense, and then I was able to cross. So a lot of people come back from the first step, because that's another great place. यहाँ बहुत मुश्किल हो जाता है. Of course, there you have to count and take कि मैं इस बार 10 step लूंगा. If you don't count, you will stop after 2-3 steps. And if someone sees a person climbing Everest, he'll think कि क्या बूढ़ा आदमी है, झुका हुआ है, खांस रहा है और आगे बढ़ ही नहीं रहा है. It's like that. So you have to just that 10 steps, 10 steps, 10 steps. That's how you have to keep your mind positive, focused. The body gives up, but your mind is there taking you. So there again, you have to have that passion to achieve it. Otherwise, the body is given up and body is scolding you, abusing you. मुझे कहाँ ले आए तुम? ना सांस है और इतनी ठंड है, एक तरफ पसीना आ रहा है, दूसरी तरफ हाथ फ्रीज हो रहे हैं. It's like that. So, but then that thing कि मैं अपना झंडा, देश का झंडा ऊपर ले जाऊंगा, उसको लहराऊंगा, that is what gets you going. And that और जब वो जाके उधर हुआ तो मेरे सारे सब जितने दर्द थे, जितनी तकलीफें थी, सब बुझ गई जब मैंने देखा कि अपना तिरंगा हवा में क्या कहते हैं फ्लटर हो रहा है. I forgot everything and मुझे ऐसा लगा कि मेरा पूरा संपूर्ण भारत वर्ष मेरे साथ अभी इस एवरेस्ट के शिखर पर है. That's the feeling you get.
What a description, Abhishek. What a description. Means, मतलब तुम्हारी सारी कहानी सुन के रोंगटे खड़े हो जाते हैं. And means it is despair, then high of your achievement and happiness, all mix of this thing. And I think you deserve to write a book on this. The way you have explained it. So एक छोटी सी बात मेरे जहन में आ रही कि जब आपको वो लगा था कि यार जब शेरपा आपका गायब हो गया और आपने देखा कि नीचे 3 किलोमीटर का सार फॉल है, what was the thought actually? What was the thought in the mind that night?
एक तो शेरपा गायब नहीं हुआ था. Sherpa was with me, but you know what happened कि Sherpa had climbed Everest once before. So I was very confident कि वो मेरा buddy है और उसको तो रूट पता ही है. तो जब हम थोड़ा खो गए तो मैंने उससे पूछा, भाई किस तरफ जाना है, ऊपर से जाना है कि आगे से जाना है? तो वो बोलता है कि मुझे नहीं पता. मैंने कहा क्यों, आप तो चढ़ चुके हो ना पहले, in that half puff and everything. He said मैं तो वो दूसरी तरफ से नेपाल साइड से चढ़ा था. That was the time I felt कि अब there is no escape. And I felt bad about myself that why am I relying on him so much and why didn't I speak to him so much? Why didn't I communicate with him to know that ये उसके लिए भी पहला है और मेरे लिए भी पहला है? So then I would have been more alert. So I was reminded of that. हम लोग बचपन में वो चंदा मामा और वो सब कॉमिक्स पढ़ते थे, तो वो प्रहलाद की कहानी थी. प्रहलाद को क्लिफ से फेंक दिया गया था so that he dies. I actually remember कि मुझे ऐसा लगा कि भाई आज तो प्रहलाद होने वाला है और यहाँ पे तो कोई बचाने वाला भी नहीं है. So yes, it was really that I will not see the daylight, and this was happening at around 2 in the night. Totally dark. Totally dark.
Okay.
You can't see anything. And there are people who are climbing, but some are behind, some are ahead, but with you there is nobody. So and they're very dicey, and you are panting. And क्या होता है कि जितना आप time, it's called the dead zone.
Yes.
About 7,000 meters के ऊपर it is called the dead zone. So जितना आप delay करेंगे आपका body मर रहा है. Your cells are only dying. You get disoriented. So you have to do that also in a reasonable time and come down. So Everest is something in which आपकी रेस खत्म नहीं होती जब आपने झंडा लहरा दिया, आपको वापस भी आना है.
Yes.
In fact, I got abused by my doctor, my Everest doctor, the one who has spoken to me first. Sergeant Commander P. Anand. Said, where are you? I said, I'm on the Everest only. Why are you coming down? Do you know you want to come down alive or not? On the wireless, he told me. I said, yes, I want to come down. I was actually waiting for my leader because he was a bit behind. I thought both of us will be on the summit together, but I was waiting for him, but he was taking time. So then on my doctor's sound advice, I started coming down. Because every time you spend there, it's a dead zone. So your body is only dying. You're getting disoriented, tired, lethargy, snow blindness, chilblains, all these things start happening.
In fact, sometimes the climbing down is more difficult than the climbing up.
It is. And most of the fatalities happen while climbing down.
Yes. Because I have also been in the mountains and I had 2 tenures like that. And I always realized that it is more tiresome when you are climbing down. And you are more liable to slip.
Yes, yes. Definitely. That's very perfect. That's the fact. That's correct.
Abhishek, it's really goosebumps. इसी बीच में आपने एक आई थिंक एक्सपीडिशन लीड किया मानसरोवर के लिए, वो भी एक अजीब चीज है. वो कहाँ हो गया? कुछ मतलब कुछ छोड़ा कि नहीं छोड़ा?
Well, one thing I tell people that all these things were easier in life. That I only realized once I got married after that. So after Everest, I got married, and I was posted in Delhi, and then I came to know about this what you call Kailash Manasarover Yatra. So the government of India, what you call sends expeditions or pilgrims every year.
Yes, yes, yes.
So I volunteered to be the liaison officer, to be the leader. So that's how I got a chance to go for this yatra, which is really spiritual and something very difficult. I happened to go and do the yoga course at Isha Yoga Center in Coimbatore with Sadhguru Jaggi Vasudevan.
Yeah.
So that's where I had learned yoga also, pranayam, anilom vilom, and various asanas. So, so I was inclined to go and do the parikrama of the what do you call the Shiv Parvat.
Oh.
And on the way, you also get to see one Om Parvat, in which actually, when the snow is there, the snow forms an Om.
Yeah.
We are blessed to be born in this country, and our heritage is very sound, very scientific.
Yeah.
World is also realizing now yoga, Ayurveda, our karma-based religion, Sanatan Dharma. So there is a realization now amongst people, but that's so scientific and the right way to lead life. So
I think in the Mansarovar Yatra, how much you walked? I think in the 40-50 kilometers, something like that, no?
See, earlier we were trekking in the 28 days, we were trekking for almost 18 days.
Wow.
So you actually cross from Joshimath ahead, you cross the Himalayas by walking. But slowly now the new government has made a lot of roads, so it's getting easier and easier. But yeah, and then the whole parikrama is for 3 days. Kailash Parvat and the Kailash and the Mansarovar. But there also now some part is motorable. So the Mansarovar actually you do on road, but the Kailash Parvat thing we do on foot. And in that you go up to the height of 5,500 meters called Dolma Pass. So I had pilgrims who were 32 of them, and most of them were in 50 plus age, and a lot of ladies, and especially from Gujarat. And they were old and not fit, but their what do you call astha and their shraddha. So they really made it very well. They did it very nicely, without falling ill, without asking for too much help. Amazing.
So 28 days of trekking in your time must be how many kilometers must be that?
Actually, in mountains, we know what do you call?
It's a time.
It's the time and the slope and the number of kilometers.
Yes.
But now times have changed, so it is lesser now. Kilometer, I will not be really able to tell. I don't remember now because it's been quite some time since I did that. It can be checked on the net. But it's amazing. It's beautiful. You see the Kailash Parvat from all the angles. Like a shivling only. And at one place you even feel, because of the crevasses, as if you feel the Nag is, the the ice is like this.
Okay.
Very beautiful.
Yeah, I heard that. In fact. So after having done all the things on the land, under the sea, over the sea, mountains, one fine day you decided to chalo yaar, bahar bhi kuch karte hain. And experience something different in the civil life. How did that?
Yes, I had finished around 21 years of service and 25 years in the Navy since I joined after 12th. So Navy gave me the best opportunities, the best life. I have amazing memories of the Navy, and I'm eternally grateful to the Navy. After around 21 years, I felt that let me try things outside. So I was more interested in getting into outbound trainings and pursuing outbound things, mountaineering and things like that. But slowly, as destiny would have it, I got a call from one company and they said they have a job which is outdoors and involves traveling. So I got excited about it. And when I went there, then I realized it was a tunneling company which was into doing tunneling. So that's how I got into tunneling. So now I work for L&T. I worked for two more companies, and currently I'm in ACE Pipelines Contracts Private Limited, which is into oil and gas sector for cross-country pipelines. So here also we have started tunneling, and we have done almost the longest tunnel under a river, 600 meters long, pipe jacking. So we are doing well. The project is going good. So from underwater, I have moved to underground. And I hope, or I don't know which way, I hope tomorrow I'm not there to tell you that now from underwater to underground, I moved to underworld.
that you shouldn't do that. Fantastic. Kya baat hai. In fact, those experiences of your submarine and this mountain climbing and other things must be coming handy in this job also, I'm sure.
Yes, here I feel the job is hardly 10% of what I used to do in the Navy.
Absolutely, absolutely. There are a few more questions people have asked, Abhishek. One is that, sir, any age criteria for MARCOS?
I think below 28. That's
Below 20.
But you should have joined the Navy before that. Yes.
You should have joined Navy before 20.
I mean, Navy's criteria is there.
Okay.
So you first join the Navy, you do your basic courses and get your commission, or you become a sailor and you are qualified. After that, you can volunteer for MARCOS. So after you have finished your courses and everything, when you are eligible to apply for MARCOS, that time your age should be below 28. But generally by...
age should be below 28.
8 that time.
Okay. Perfect. Then, Mohit, you must have got your answer. Then Rahul ne pucha hai ki, sir, how tough is the staff course entrance exam to crack for officers? I think he's from Army or what?
Service Selection Board he is asking.
No. He's asking Defense Service Staff College.
Okay.
Staff College entrance exam to crack for officers. DSSC.
DSSC.
So, I tell you that it's equally tough and it's a competitive exam, because I have also done the TSC and he has done DSSC. And but it's not that. If you commit yourself, you prepare well, you can pass it. There is not such a thing. So I think he seems to be probably part of that.
Okay.
Then another one has Satish has sent love from Nepal. Somebody watching from Nepal, he has sent a love to you.
Okay.
Then another is, sir, where can I find you online? Are you there on Instagram? He is asking that.
There's only one person in this world by the name of Abhishek Kankan. So you'll find me on Facebook. I'm not so regular on Instagram, but I'm there, I think.
Okay. Then he's saying, sir, when you जब एवरेस्ट क्लाइंब कर रहे थे, पैरानॉर्मल एक्सपीरियंस हुआ क्या? पैरानॉर्मल एक्सपीरियंस बताया तो भी तो उन्होंने.
Paranormal, so I don't know, but yes, there were times once I feel sort of I hallucinated.
Yeah.
Like I felt my Sherpa was just next to me, and I started speaking to him, and I realized वो तो काफी पीछे है. So ऐसा होता है because oxygen is less, so even your mind starts playing games. So yes, hallucination होते हैं वो सब, मतलब it depends on the degree.
Yeah.
And of course, there was while coming down, there was one dead body which was there lying on the side, which I didn't realize. I thought some climber is just resting. तो मैंने शेरपा को बोला उसको पूछ लेते हैं. That time थोड़ी सी जान आ गई थी, तो मैंने पूछा उससे पूछ लेते कुछ help चाहिए, पानी or something. So he said, sir, this is a dead body. So suddenly, so my Sherpa got very affected by that dead body. Once he came back, he was quite quiet for quite some time. he was from Nepal. So वो dead body देखने से he was quite affected. But otherwise नहीं, कोई hallucination था, ऐसा कोई paranormal नहीं, ऐसा तो कोई experience नहीं हुआ.
अभिषेक, जाते जाते अभी हमारे जो यूथ्स हैं उनके लिए क्या मैसेज दोगे? बिकॉज यू हैव डन so much of adventure and professionalism, everything you have attempted, and you have always chosen the path of the toughest life. It's not a easy way. What would you like to tell our youths who are listening or who will listen later?
Well, the message, we all know it actually. This world is a tough place, and there are battles everywhere. Okay, even not only in the armed forces, but even outside. So there's a lot of competition. There's no substitute for hard work. So आपको दिल और जान से मेहनत करनी ही है. और not only you have to work hard, you have to work smart also. So that is important. Then you have to have pride in your country. Like all armed forces people, we have pride in our country, in our flag. So you have to have that pride for your country, our heritage, our you know, as I said earlier, yoga, Ayurveda, our karma based religion, Sanatan Dharma, our philosophy of life. Have pride in them, read about them. Like they say Gita, I have also not started. Like they say that Bhagavad Gita has answers to everything. So there is no doubt that the civilization before us, it was there, the Satyug and the what do you call the Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga and Treta Yuga, and those people were definitely superior to us in their philosophy, in their well-being. People used to live for 150 years that time. So fortunately for us, we have the same genes in us still. Okay, just that we have been ruled by foreigners for quite some time, and so we have lost. So we have to regain that pride. We have to learn about our heritage, get back to it, and put in hard work. And there is no way anyone can stop us from becoming the top country in the world. And of course, once we are the most powerful and the most prosperous country in the world, we are not going to scuttle others. With our philosophy is Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. So our growth, we never think that, to improve or to get something ourselves, we have to kill someone else. But yes, we have many enemies. We have many enemies on our borders. We have many enemies across borders. We have many enemies within our own borders. You have to recognize them. You have to understand and what they are trying to do. And there's no doubt that we will have to fight these enemies who do not identify with India, with Indian culture, with Indian philosophy of life. And because the Indian philosophy is the most secular and most, inclusive philosophy. So hard work, have pride in our country, have pride in our civilization, and be ready to fight and have that jazba in yourself to achieve. And you may have failures, but you remember, everybody who has one success has 10 failures behind it. I've had many failures, I'm telling you.
Yes.
Okay. So don't get depressed. Don't think that मेरे बस की नहीं है. एक कदम पीछे लो और फिर आगे बढ़ो, and no one can stop you. That's
so true, Abhishek. And what a message! What a message! Wonderful message. जाते जाते किसी ने और एक कुछ पूछ लिया है कि he said that Vijaypal Rawat sir, your course mate.
No, he's a MARCOS. He's senior to me.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Means our viewers have got so much of information, so much of knowledge. They are they are all very committed, very intelligent, and they know much more about.
They are, and I can say that they are better than us, and they will achieve more than us. Just keep focused. You can achieve much more, and you have much better facilities now, and much better avenues also.
Yes. So, Abhishek, on behalf of me and my viewers, wonderful viewers, and they ask such a inquisitive questions, such a thought-provoking questions, and On top of it, you answered so transparently, so much in details, and given so much of time. Thank you so much. I'm really obliged, Abhishek, for your wonderful conversation.
Thank you. Thank you to your audience for asking all the good questions, and thank God I could answer them. And thanks for keeping it so interactive. And best of luck to the audience, and Jai Hind.